Hi, this is Scott with Specter Gear, and for today's video we're going to be talking about how to install a buttstock shell holder onto a typical conventional shotgun stock, such as those seen on the Remington 870, the Mossberg 500, the Mossberg 590, the Winchester 1200, Winchester 1300, and the Benelli shotguns, as well as a few others that we probably haven't listed yet. But these instructions will be the same for each and every one of those shotguns. And these instructions will also be inclusive and identical for the 5 and the 6 shot versions of these buttstock shell holders. Before I move on from the buttstock real quick, one thing to note is you may be required to remove the rear sling swivel stud or sling swivel on your buttstock. The Winchester 1300 is the only one I know of that has a molded in swivel point at the rear, but it's fairly low profile, so the rear adapter will work with that. However, the ones that project out, such as Uncle Mike's type QD swivel studs, they do get in the way, and it's probably likely you're going to need to remove it, but it's easily done and easily replaceable. Another thing I'll note is you do not have to remove the stock from the shotgun in order to install this. I've removed it because it's a little easier to move this around and show the instructions a little more efficiently without a shotgun hanging off of the end of the buttstock. But it's, again, not required to remove it. Now what I'm depicting here, there are two ways in which you could have possibly purchased one of these buttstock shell holder units, either as a kit that attaches to the Specter gear sling you already own, or the Specter gear sling you're purchasing at the moment, or it comes as a standalone unit with this rear adapter included. Now I also don't have a sling hanging off of this because then the webbing gets in the way and it can block your view of what we're doing, but the sling of course would attach to either this loop or this loop depending on left or right-handed application. Now what I'm going to start off by doing is showing the right-handed installation instructions, and then from there I will show the left-handed side. But we'll just go through it step by step, and we'll start working on the assumption that it's away from the rear adapter, just like so. The idea with a right-handed application is we're going to be putting this on the right-handed side of the stock, away from where you would cheek up on the left-handed side of the stock. So to start with, let's talk rear adapter nomenclature real quick. This is the main strap. This is a portion that goes around the stock, top to bottom. And then we have our cross strap, which is what captures the actual buttstock itself. We're going to be attaching this buttstock shell holder to the cross strap right about here. So the first thing that we're going to do, we want to turn this over and we want to open up this rear attachment strap. We're also going to open up the front attachment strap when we go to put it on the stock itself, but let's just show this first. You want to make sure that this strap, if it's not already done so, that it's moved all the way to the rear of the slot, as far back as it'll go. I'll show you in just a moment how to break that loose, but it's pretty simple. It's retained by Velcro. All you just need to do is break the Velcro contact with something that has a blunt tip, like a butter knife, and you just simply work that butter knife between the pieces of Velcro. It loosens the Velcro up, and then of course you can move it all the way to the rear. Now what we're going to do at this point, because it's a right-handed application, we're just simply going to wrap this retainer strap around the cross strap. Let me go ahead and open this up so you can see it just a little bit better. I'm bumping the tripod a little bit, please forgive me, but I'm kind of working around this. This thing's kind of between my legs at this point. Okay, so we would want to wrap around right here, and we want to be as close to this edge of the webbing where it's closed by this bar tack. We want to be as close to that as possible. So we close it down and we are good to go. Now that we have it open, I'm just going to kind of start this back in here just a little bit, but I'm not going to run it all the way down. I want to create enough room so that we can set the buttstock into this opening. Now I'm going to open up the front strap and pull it free from its loop. Now at this point, all we're going to do is we're going to set the toe of the stock into this stirrup rear adapter, just like so. And we're going to move it until, and you're going to have to kind of fiddle around with this and get the spacing just right. And it'll take a couple of goes, but the idea is, and let me just turn this around this way, it's a little easier. We want to set it in just like so. Now we just fold the actual shell holder back out of the way, and I'm going to close this down and secure the Velcro. Now again, it's going to take a little bit of shifting. The first part is just kind of hold it in place, and I just kind of keep pulling it tight until I get it about how I want and make sure everything lines up. I'm one of those people that's kind of weird about things being symmetrical, so that's what we're looking at right there. That secures it at the rear, and it's kind of going down this way, so I can kind of play around with this a little bit and move it around. There we go. I just about got it where I want it. Now, once we get the rear secured, we just simply undo that Velcro, run it through the loop at the front attachment portion, pull it tight, and secure it down on the other side, just like so. Now, like I said, you're going to need to fiddle around with this. Like, this doesn't line up just how I want it. I would probably, because like I said, I'm a little critical about that kind of stuff. Let's straighten it out a little bit and move it over. There we are. We're just about to the point. Okay. We secure it down, and there we go. We have everything set up for a right-handed application. And of course, pretty obvious, your shell loops go in. You want to run those with the bases facing up and the crimp or slug facing down. And that's your right-handed application. So with that, go ahead and cut here, and I'll set everything up, and we'll go ahead and start with the left-handed application. Okay, we've got this. It's still in right-handed application, but we've taken it off the stock. And what we're going to do now is I'm going to show you. Now, of course, if you get this as a kit and it just came with the shell holder only, this is still going to apply. But as I mentioned, everything comes from the factory in right-handed default configuration. So I'm going to show you how to break this down and convert the shell holder into left-handed format. So we're going to start by opening up that retainer strap and removing it from the rear adapter. Now, moving forward, we're going to be now trying to attach everything to this side of the rear adapter. But before we do that, we need to change some things around, because you can't just flip this thing over and put it on the other side. If you do, I mean, it'll attach, but this is now going to be facing up, and this little corner is going to be catching you right in the cheek, and that's going to be kind of uncomfortable. So we want to adjust that and make it fit for you. So to set this up for a left-handed application, we're going to need to remove these two straps, and we're going to switch their places. So start by opening these up. And again, this is your rear attachment strap. That's your front attachment strap. I mentioned earlier about using something like a butter knife with a blunt tip to get under here and break this Velcro. Now, I mess around with this stuff enough that I actually tend to do it with my fingers. But the whole idea here is you just get it in there, and then you can just yank it out. And then for this side, the same. But you don't want to push too hard. You may actually get between the actual webbing and the Velcro, and you don't want to get in there and mess the stitches up. So be careful how you're doing it. So as I mentioned, we're going to now be switching the orientation on these things. So what I'm going to do is, because I need to attach it, I need to switch around and think of this in terms. So this was here, I need to move this here. So I just simply slide this under, and you don't really need to turn the adapter either way. These slots are identical. The whole idea is just to switch the spots. So there, I just slide that under, and again, remember to slide this all the way to the rear, as far to the rear as it'll go. Let's close that up for a second. And then we're going to do the same thing here. You want this, at the loop, you want the Velcro loop material to be facing up. Just run the tip under the retainer strap. And the easiest way to do this literally is just to pull it. Just pull it all the way down. And you want it to where you're right at the top of the Velcro. And now we have this set up so when we attach, it's going to fit on the other side of the stock like so. So to put this on the rear adapter, we're going to do just like we did before, and we're going to open the rear attachment strap. We're going to wrap it around the cross strap of the rear adapter. and close it down. Make sure, again, as I stated before, that it's close to this little, the edge of the webbing here where this bar tack is. Okay, at this point, it's actually a little easier to do this because you're not going to have to fold the buttstock shell holder panel. You're not going to have to move that out of the way. All you're simply going to do is open up the loop, set the toe of the stock into the rear adapter, and even everything out, up and down, side to side. Close this down. Okay, then we move to the front, run that through the loop, and close that down. And now we have our buttstock shell holder set up for use on the left side of the stock. And I'm going to have to fiddle with this just a moment. If you find that you're getting a little too far to the rear on this, you can fiddle around with it. It'll take a little bit of Velcro adjustment, but eventually you'll get it out of the way. But it's going to be kind of right here at the edge. One would think this is going to catch your shoulder pocket, but it actually doesn't. But as I said, you can make some adjustments to that and move that around just a little bit and clear that forward, and you're actually fine. The actual portion of the buttstock is right here. So that is left-handed application. And with that, I'll go ahead and bring it to a close. If you have any other questions on this or you get stuck, go ahead and give us a call or send us an email. But this should answer some of those questions out there regarding how to attach this this critical piece of gear to the buttstock of your shotgun. So with that, I'll bring it to a close. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.